Funk Revolution now. Today we're going to be reviewing Astrophysics' newest album, Tragedies. I'm not reviewing this just because they are Brazilian, although that might play a little role. I'm reviewing it because it is actually some really interesting drum and bass that I do hear some pretty fascinating stuff going on that really caught my attention. So this is a cool project. Astrophysics already has a bit of a following on YouTube, and they're on the No Agreements record label, so this is interesting. This is interesting, and I enjoyed it. So let's go ahead and start by taking a look at the album cover. I think this is a pretty interesting album cover. We got this woman in the middle here who kind of looks emo looking, sort of, with holding this helmet that says CCCP on it, which is the Soviet Union. And if you actually look through Astrophysics, their discography, you'll see similar album artwork referencing the CCCP. So we can kind of assume that Astrophysics does in fact enjoy some communist imagery. There's going to be a sample from Michael Parenti, who's a very socialist political scientist. So we got some of that, politics coming into the music a bit here. Very intense album cover, lots of scribbles, black and white and purple, and it just looks pretty intense. It does remind me a little bit of Sewer Slut because this is drum and bass that is kind of atmospheric and synthy here and there, that also features like black and white and purple colors of like an emo looking kind of like maybe even like sort of like anime-ish influenced art style of this woman here. So a little bit of a connection there. I know that's not gonna, I know Astrophysics, I saw they tweeted that they were getting really annoyed by all the people comparing this album to Sewer Slut, and I'm sure that's going to annoy them that I just did that with the album cover as well. But don't you worry, there's plenty of things that this music has nothing in common with Sewer Slut. I think just because drum and bass is a pretty specific kind of genre, it's not so easy to wrap your head around. So a lot of people, when they hear two musicians in that genre, they're gonna say they sound the same. The opening track, Troublemaking Friends, like that is such a fucking cool track there. The way the opening like chords and melodies, it kind of just like builds, and it's like very like kind of dissonant. Like at times it feels really good, but then sometimes they'll like kind of hit a note that sounds a bit sour and makes you a little uncomfortable, and that song kind of gradually builds, and then boom, you kind of like, it brings you to this like beautiful like euphoric kind of melody here with this like lead guitar part that sounds like kind of distorted, but it's like also really fun sounding with these awesome vocals, and just like kind of this like like you can like sing along to it. This song is just so incredibly linear that like it kind of reminds me of like progressive rock, the way it just like non-stop, like there is like, it just like the way it evolves. It's such a fucking journey, and to me that is just exhilarating. And honestly, one of the things that stands out to me about this album more than anything else on this album is like each of these songs, like don't expect like verse, chorus. Yes, you're gonna find some like repeated melodies here and there. You're gonna find some, obviously like drum patterns that are utilized throughout the song, but like really like these songs are like incredibly linear. You never know what the hell's gonna happen next. Right after Troublemaking Friends, which is like totally a fucking epic track, like one of my favorite songs of the year so far, we go into the song Kame Mushi, which like just kind of just like boom, starts like pumping you with this like real like intense like dance music that like totally changes the vibe. And then right after that we got City Summer, which is like a lot more mellow, a lot more beautiful. It has this kind of like cute little vocal sample that kind of reminds me of like PlayStation 1. Like there was definitely some like PlayStation 1 like retro kind of video game vibes coming through, like maybe like Super Monkey Ball vibes, fun, happy PlayStation game. We're not talking anything too emo. But for all the fun like PlayStation-y kind of cute little moments here with these really pleasant, beautiful melodies and synths and stuff, there is some actual like darkness kind of coming through in this album as well. There are some post-punk influence for sure. It actually took me a few times to kind of listen to really hear it, but if you listen closely, you're definitely going to hear, especially in like the second half, lots of like guitar chords and strings that are very like reverby and delayed, sound very post-punky and even shoegazy at times. Very cool to hear some of that guitar incorporated into a drum and bass album, and I think that's sounds really cool as well. And then at the very end we got Karoshi, which is a 10-minute track, another freaking epic track. I thought Troublemaking Friends was freaking epic. Well, we got a 10-minute, another progressive, electronic drum and bass song that takes you on a whole freaking journey. I love it. It manages to to combine these beautiful synths that are just so heavenly and so gorgeous with also this like an energy of like these intense drum and bass drums that are just so fun. It's fun. It's both emotional. It's both fun. It's a very diverse record. I think this is, like I said, I thought it was a lot of fun to listen to from start to finish, and analyzing it. I definitely appreciated to see like a lot of that kind of ambition of trying to create more like linear songs with more different genres coming in through. We even got some like harsh vocals coming in here as well. I wasn't so crazy about the second half of the song Empty Servers. I felt like the first half was just so beautiful, so calm. Again, some like pleasant, nostalgic PlayStation 1 good cozy vibes that I thought were so beautiful. And then the second half, it brings in this like these harsh screams, a lot more abrasive. And I don't really have necessarily an issue with harsh screams in music. I just felt like the first half of the song and the second half of the song like were super disconnected. Like it felt like we just kind of moved it to a completely different song, and maybe this was supposed to like surprise you or shock you or whatever, but for me I didn't really like it just because I liked the first half of the song so much more than the second half. It just didn't really feel like it just kind of was like, oh, that kind of kills the vibe in my opinion. I also feel like some of the vocal melodies throughout this album are a little bit like aimless. Like it does feel like a little bit like, I think because these songs are so progressive and so changing, I feel like the vocals, sometimes the melodies are like really catchy, like Troublemaking Friends, you got some like real like catchy melodies in there, but some of these vocal melodies, especially in the second half, like I feel like kind of just are, almost like singing random notes that don't really add too much to the song, even though the vocals do sound good, and I do like overall how vocals are incorporated into this album. So this is a really cool album. I'm giving this a 7.4 out of 10. Definitely, if you're into drum and bass, check this album out. If you want to get into drum and bass and you want some more like progressive experimental drum and bass, this is a great choice. Very moody, very fun, has some awesome songs. I mean, this is a great project. So I bought the cassette. Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the album. Pretty damn cool stuff. Shout out to Brazil. Brazil is always killing it, as always. Punk Evolution now.